If you, like us, ever feel that deep frustration from failing over and over again,
Yeah.
and I don't mean at big, hard things, I mean when you keep tripping over the same simple obstacle again and again, well, this deep dive is for you.
It's really going to change how you look at problems.
We've been looking at this situation with a kid named Alex Garcia. He's 12, and he is on a losing streak that is, frankly, almost impressive.
Uh-huh.
He loses at Fortnite, he gets lapped in Mario Kart, and somehow he even loses a school debate on whether cereal is soup.
Which, for the record, it's not.
It's not, and his argument just completely fell apart.
It's such a familiar pattern, though, isn't it? That feeling of just banging your head against a wall.
Right.
But Alex's older brother, Leo, he gives him this crucial clue. He says the problem isn't bad luck. It's not even about trying harder.
Right. He says the problem is fighting everything with the exact same strategy.
The same single tool.
That's what caught our attention. So our mission today is to unpack these superpowers of thinking, which are called mental models. And we want to show you why relying on just your default setting, your gut feeling, your habit is probably the biggest recipe for failure there is.
We're moving beyond just, wishing for a better outcome and actually getting into the engineering of how to think. It's about giving you a whole set of different lenses to see the world.
Okay, so let's quickly unpack the origin story because it really sets the stage for everything else.
Yeah, it's a great setup.
So after another spectacular failure in a game, Alex gets this weird message, and it leads him to this kind of digital floating library. It's very mysterious.
So that's where he meets Charlie.
Right, Charlie, who tells him his whole mission is to stop Alex, and really all of us, from falling into what he calls the one-tool trap.
And right there, we get the core definition, stripped of all the jargon. A mental model is just a big, proven idea that helps you understand how the world works.
That's it.
You already use them every day, things like cause and effect, or knowing that practice makes you better, which is compounding, or even just social rules like reciprocity. You're nice to me, I'll be nice to you.
But the really powerful ones are the strategic ones. To Alex, these weren't just ideas. They were presented as legendary loot, like the best gear you can get for your brain.
I love that analogy.
It's like upgrading from a rusty pocket knife to, I don't know, Batman's utility belt. A specialized tool for every single situation.
Exactly. And what makes these so powerful is where they come from. Charlie really emphasizes this. They're not from just one field. They've been collected for centuries from the most effective parts of human knowledge.
Science, math, psychology.
Economics, physics, biology, engineering, philosophy, all of them.
That cross-disciplinary thing is what I find so compelling. It means you're pulling solutions from places you'd never think to look. In Alex's library, you see these orbs representing the models. There's one for evolution from biology, which makes you think about survival and adaptation. Then there's incentives from psychology, which is all about why people do what they do.
Or supply and demand from economics, explaining why some things are valuable and others aren't. And what's so important here is that these aren't just facts you memorize. They're frameworks for thinking.
Okay, so probability isn't just a math formula.
No, not at all. It's a decision-making tool. It forces you to actually think about the risk, about the potential payoff, before you just jump in. And when you combine a model like evolution with a model like incentives, suddenly you have this incredibly rich way to understand why a company, or even just your friends, are acting the way they are.
And Charlie's goal is to collect about 100 of these, to form what does he call it? A brain Avengers team.
Yeah, and you need that diversity. Because if your only hero is the Hulk,
you're just going to smash everything.
Which is the perfect lead-in to the first and maybe the most important mental model Alex learns. It's really a warning. It's called the hammer and the nail.
Ah, yes, the famous quote.
It's the one that should govern all your decisions, really. If you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's so simple, but we overlook it all the time.
And the hammer is just your default setting.
It's the strategy you use without thinking.
For Alex, his hammer is basically just enthusiasm and winging it. He goes with his gut, he guesses, he grabs the first idea that pops into his head.
It's a low-effort strategy,
Yeah.
And this is where we see the direct line between that kind of thinking and, well, real-world failure. Let's look at the hammer problem in his life.
Okay, like the science experiment disaster.
Perfect example. He and his friend Maya are making parachutes. The goal is the slowest descent. And Alex, without even pausing to think, just uses his brute force intuition.
He immediately says, let's make ours heavier. If it's heavier, it'll be harder to fall, right?
Right. I mean, it sounds plausible for a second, but he's using a simple linear model, More weight equals more resistance when the problem is way more complex. It's about air resistance, fluid dynamics.
It's about surface area, not just weight.
Exactly. The surface area was the key variable. So he used the wrong tool, and their parachute just plummeted, predictably.
It's the perfect illustration. He needed systems thinking or even just basic physics, and he used a guess.
And you see it in his gaming, too. If your only move is rush and attack, the gamer hammer, then every problem looks like something you should charge at. You ignore the bow, the healing potions, the shield.
All the specialized tools.
All designed for specific problems. And this connects directly to you, the listener. If you find you're solving the same problem over and over only to have it pop up somewhere else, you're probably swinging the same hammer.
This is why our sources say that people who master these models feel like they gained a decade of foresight. They're not just facts, they're like mental armor. They protect you from your own mistakes. I think the hardest part for most of us, though, is realizing that the hammer isn't always wrong. Sometimes your gut is right, so how do you know when to trust it and when to grab a different tool?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's the one Charlie forces Alex to face. His answer is this. When the stakes are low, use the hammer. Go for it. But when you're facing something complex or risky or a problem you've never seen before, you have to pause.
You have to stop and apply a framework.
That's what the mental models teach you. They teach you how to pause.
Okay, so to really hammer this point home, no pun intended, the source gives us these specific hammer traps.
Yes, these are so good. They're basically common biases that we mistake for being efficient.
Let's start with the homework hammer. This is the student whose only tool is memorization. That's it.
Flashcards for everything.
Everything. History, geometry, Spanish. They just drill and repeat. They treat it all the same.
And that works, for a while. Until they hit a problem that needs them to analyze something or apply a concept, not just recall a fact.
Right. They use the memorization hammer on a problem that needs, say, first principles thinking, and then they fail. And they blame the test for being tricky.
Then you've got the friendship hammer. This is the person whose only social tool is humor.
The class clown.
Exactly. They use jokes for everything. When you're celebrating, when you're fighting, even when you're grieving. The hammer is humor, but the problem often needs empathy.
They fail because they're ignoring the incentive model. When a friend needs comfort, the incentive is connection. But a joke feels like deflection. The friend just feels unheard.
You force the joke tool onto an empathy problem. And then, of course, there's the big one, the money hammer.
The spend it now hammer.
Any money that comes in is treated like it's on fire. It has to be turned into stuff immediately.
That person is only using the immediate gratification tool. They're not thinking about compounding or opportunity cost from economics.
So when they actually need money for something big like college or a car.
You're 404. Cash not found.
Right. They forced the spending tool onto a problem that needed saving and planning.
These failures are so frustrating because they are all preventable. They just come from not having the right tools. But the good news is the source immediately shows us the flip side.
Yeah, it contrasts these with some great case studies of teens who did use the right tool. The difference is stark.
Take Alex's 10-year-old brother, Leo. He wanted to throw his soccer ball farther. Instead of just trying to throw it harder, the brute strength hammer, he used a model from physics.
He figured out that the best angle for distance is 45 degrees. He used a scientific tool instead of just muscle memory. And it worked.
Or what about 13-year-old Maya? She wanted to go to a sleepover. Instead of just arguing and pleading,
The argument hammer.
she used a model from psychology and incentives. Before she even asked, she cleaned her room and did all her homework.
She was engineering the decision. She knew her parents' resistance was about the cost, the mess, the nagging. So she removed that cost and added a positive incentive. It made it so much easier for them to say yes.
And there's 15-year-old Jordan, who wanted those expensive headphones. Instead of using the money hammer and buying them right away,
He used an economics model. He timed the sale, he looked at the market patterns, waited for a predictable discount, and got them without breaking the bank.
And finally, 17-year-old Brooke, she couldn't get her club members to show up for a park cleanup day. Nagging wasn't working.
So she switched to the incentives model.
Her solution was brilliant. She didn't just ask for help. She brought great snacks, made an amazing playlist. She turned a chore into a social event.
She didn't change the task. She just changed the incentive structure around it.
That's the power of having a full toolkit. You stop trying to force your way through a problem and you start analyzing the system.
And for you, the listener, we want to close this section with the same challenge Alex got, the 5 tools challenge.
This is how you break that hammer habit. Pick one recurring problem this week. Could be anything. A tough assignment, an issue with a coworker. And instead of your default approach, you're going to use 5 different tools.
Tool 1, the science model. Ask, why is this happening? 5 times. The 5 whys. Dig deep to find the root cause.
Tool 2, the math model. Ask, what's the actual probability of my current plan working? Quantify the risk. Get out of your emotions.
Tool 3, psychology. Ask, what are the hidden incentives here for me and for them? And what would an outside observer do? Force a new perspective.
Tool 4, economics. Ask, what's the true cost of this path in time and opportunity, not just money?
And finally, tool 5, the engineering model. Ask, is there a rule, a pattern, or a shortcut that's worked elsewhere that I can use here? Look for an efficient system, not just more effort.
By forcing yourself to use these different lenses, you stop just guessing and you start deliberately picking the right superpower for the job.
So Alex's journey is becoming really clear. It's not about finding one magic trick.
No, it's about building an entire armory of tools. You have to diagnose the problem first, then pick the right model.
Right. And as we leave him, Charlie takes him back to the floating library. He points to this huge stone door. This door is the gateway to his first true strategic superpower.
The one you have to learn before all the others.
The door starts to open, and Alex sees his powerful symbol inside. Something about breaking complex things down into their simplest parts.
But then, bam, the door slams shut.
With a flash of light, it just slams shut. And Charlie explains the problem isn't the lock, it's that Alex is still trying to open it with his old hammer, his default thinking. To unlock this foundational power, he needs a tool that can actually take the hammer itself apart.
Which leaves us with our final thought for you to chew on this week.
If the biggest barrier to success is constantly relying on unchecked habit and intuition, the hammer, what foundational thinking tool do you have to unlock first? What tool lets you break those old patterns and open the door to all the other superpowers? What tool lets you dissect the problem of thinking itself?